Hello Virgo, welcome to your May tarot reading. I hope your April was peaceful and you got through with some little gems of insight and blessings. I'd like to tell you that I'm going to do these readings slightly different, or at least the video will appear slightly different. In the parts that I am drawing cards, or cards are falling out for your spread, both the first layer and the second layer, I shall be speeding up those parts of the video in order to cut down the video time for uploading, and also so that I can spend a little more time reading the cards, as I find myself kind of wanting to say a little bit more about your readings. So please let me know in the comments if you know how you feel about that and if it works for you. I'd also like to say that these readings are general. Not all of it will apply to you. Perhaps what I'm seeing in the cards you have just been through, or you have not yet reached. Please do just take what resonates and leave the rest for somebody else. Let's get straight into your reading now, and I'll start shuffling. Okay, Virgo, we have a very interesting spread of cards here for May. We have the Two of Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles, the Seven of Wands, the Knight of Swords, the Chariot, the Seven of Swords, the Queen of Swords, and the Devil card. That's quite a lot of powerful energy right there, Virgo. So let's start off with the Two of Pentacles. It indicates to me that there has been perhaps a slight imbalance, in kind of work and emotion, or maybe trying to balance a new project with your responsibilities. I feel as though the Pentacles aspect of it has been about your foundation and your resources, as opposed to the kind of the vision and the creation, or the project, or your spirituality. Something is wanting to try and blossom and manifest here, and you've had to try and balance those two things. It may well be that other people are pulling on you, your responsibilities are pulling on you, and you've not been able to kind of reinforce your need for something for yourself, if I can put it that way. I don't know where this is coming from, but maybe there are a few out there who have been kind of really fighting to get this balance for yourself. The Queen of Pentacles is an interesting energy here. For me, this is you, in a sense, Virgo, in that you have this intuitive ability to know what is required to be able to nurture and sustain, to understand how to keep the balance. So this is kind of you coming into your own, if you like. Maybe there have been aspects of life that have been keeping you off balance, and finally you're kind of putting your foot down and understanding that in order for you to nurture, you also need both feet on the ground. So this Queen has, I don't know if you can see this card clearly, that she has this kind of spiritual antenna, and the more she is in tune with that, the more she is able to feel her way into righteousness, the more she is able to understand how to temper and balance everything and to create this abundance. She is very much in charge of her domain when she's standing in her power, and I feel as though maybe you haven't been able to do that of late. So then we have the Seven of Wands, which tells me that there's been an awful lot going on for you, Virgo. We have all of these elements, these options, these opportunities, or perhaps for you it has been a little bit overwhelming. It has felt a little bit like an attack, perhaps. It has felt as though you can't quite handle it. You don't know what is at the root of these things, and you're not sure how to proceed. But in a sense, when the Queen does kind of center herself, if you like, you notice that this lady, her solar plexus chakra is highlighted, she's also very well protected as she's on higher ground. And so when you center yourself in your wisdom, your innate wisdom, and in your power, you're able to allow things to develop. You're able to see things much more clearly than trying to go into the nitty-gritty and the detail and kind of getting lost down the rabbit holes, if you like. So I kind of want you to sit still. I want you to just sit back and allow things to develop, because in that you will gain an awful lot of clarity and things will reveal themselves. Now, talking about revealing themselves, we then have the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords is very incisive. He brings in communication and wisdom. And he is he's very fast moving. There's a lot of motivation. This is a huge catalyst here, Virgo. And so it might shake you up a little bit. There might be information coming in that really clears the decks for you, really pushes things forward. And I've got the Chariot as well, which also tells me that there's going to be some really fast movement here. What needs to happen is the kind of alchemy, the temperance or the balance between the kind of negative aspects and the positive aspects of self. The Chariot is a Cancer rule card, and if you notice, a crab kind of moves sideways, so it has a different perspective to the normal people. I'm not going to say normal people, but to everybody else. And so he's able to see things in a very different way, a different perspective. And so what I want you to do is look at the aspects of self that you've perhaps been pushing down or trying to hold back or not reveal. Perhaps things about yourself or about situations that you're not very comfortable with. But if you kind of expose those things and you bring those things to light, they no longer have power over you. They no longer split you in two. And when you reveal and combine those things, you're able to combine the wisdom and the understanding and the clarity that they bring about where you're vulnerable. Then there's nothing to stop you, Virgo. Then you're able to power forward into whatever project that it is that you're going for here. So the Seven of Swords. Now, again, this is about clarity. This is bringing you very much a deeper understanding. The universe wants to shed light on your processes, on your ability to understand what is at play here. So the Seven of Swords is bringing you great wisdom. So having the Seven and the Knight of Swords in your reading, that's extremely powerful in terms of informational input. So then we have the Queen of Swords, another sword. This is bringing you great wisdom. Did I just say that, Virgo? So the Queen of Swords is extremely incisive, very wise, and the swords are double-edged. So this can bring great truth and clarity and freedom, but it can also be quite cutting if there isn't temperance. So I think that's why we have the Seven of Swords here. So as much as the Queen wants to get to the truth and rely on facts and purely facts, there's an element that her heart is kind of defended here. She doesn't want her heart to be involved in the mental process. As much as that is good in certain circumstances, it's funny because as I was meditating for you, Virgo, I had the Justice card, and the Justice card is about combining both logic and fact with empathy and intuition. And so maybe there's an element here that you can involve your heart a little bit more once you've had the clarity, once you've had the revelation and the understanding of how to combine the wisdom. The Queen will have it all. Then we have the Devil card. Now the Devil card again acts like a fantastic mirror to our souls. He shows us where we are weakest. He shows us our vulnerabilities, our blocks, our obstacles. And often we think that we're quite well balanced and we don't have any, and then something triggers us. So it's usually based in fear, sometimes ego, lust, greed, whatever it is for you or for everybody else. It acts as an Achilles heel. It holds us back and it has us going round in cycles. So the Devil, I don't know if you can see in this card, he has strings attached to this poor figure down here. And so what we're doing when we encounter the devil is we're trying to release those binds, those ties to that which holds us back. And this whole reading on the first layer has been about a deeper insight into self and an understanding on how you might be holding yourself back, what it is within you that is scuppering your progress. So I'm going to pull another layer now and get some clarity for you. Okay, Virgo, so we have again another very interesting layer here, one that is very kind of mixed in terms of energy, and I want to take my time a little bit going into this. So we have the High Priestess over the Two of Pentacles, and if you notice in the card the duality of the pillars on either side of the High Priestess here, indicating that both the positives and the negatives about our kind of vision of self, our understanding of self, the darkness and the light within, the obstacles and the attributes, if you like. The High Priestess comes in to bring us great insight, to reflect back at us who we are in terms of our soul, not the personality or the expression of who we are on the earth today, but our soul, our great life mission, our Akashic records, if you like. And so it reflects back to you who you are, what you're doing here, and what may be preventing you from moving. And so in the back of this card, we also have pomegranates behind the priestess there. So she's kind of delivering pearls of wisdom and understanding to you. We often visit the High Priestess when we're at a stage on the path where we don't know which way to go. And if you're in a state of juggling and you don't know how to proceed, then there's an intuitive voice within. There's a higher self here that could be speaking to you, that is trying to get through to you. And you kind of know the answers, Virgo. There is a deeply intuitive aspect to you. And perhaps you're using that to a lesser or greater degree, but it's trying to speak to you. It's trying to let you know where your energies and your passions need to be rebalanced here. The Eight of Swords over the Queen of Pentacles. The Eight of Swords talks about a feeling of being trapped, which is interesting given that you may well be trapped in responsibility or other people's expectations. But in this card we have a little pool of water by this lady's feet. And what that indicates is the intuitive waters within. It indicates that there's a higher part of ourselves that has knowledge of how to escape these binds. If only we could understand that it is really down to us. This lady can walk through the gap in the swords. If she cuts her binds on one of the swords and releases the blindfold, she will be able to see her way through. So maybe ask yourself, what is it that is holding you back? Is it your sense of duty, Virgo? Maybe you're trying to please too many people. Maybe there's an element of you not wanting to let people down. The Queen of Pentacles stands her ground in her nurturing ability, in her creative ability. So perhaps you can flip the switch on this one and understand that when you are grounded, when you are nurtured, you can then nurture others to a greater degree. The Hanged Man over the Seven of Swords. Now, as I was saying earlier, sometimes we need to allow time for things to develop, and the Hanged Man comes in to indicate that we kind of need to see things from a different perspective. The universe has paused us for a little while to give us this insight into self or into the situation, and sometimes to allow things to develop so that we can see more clearly what they entail. So that's quite a clear understanding with the Hanged Man there. The Knight of Swords is clarified by the Five of Cups. Now, that's very interesting to me because I feel as though there's been a letdown, a huge disappointment, and the Knight has come in to reflect that back to you in no uncertain terms. You're now understanding where it is you stand, what it is that you need to do, and instead of looking at what you've lost, perhaps to look at what remains, the solid abundance, the solid emotional sustenance that remains is what you can rely on, and that which has fallen wasn't going to have longevity. So then we move to the Chariot being clarified by the Four of Swords. It's interesting, I've seen this card a couple of times in May's readings. So the Three Swords sort of pointing towards the sleeping knight here indicates he's kind of ruminating or assessing and analysing past battles, and the one sword that lies next to him or beneath him is about himself, about how he's dealt with certain things. It's about healing, this card, kind of filtering through and looking at situations in order to do better next time, or in order to understand how our mental processes get us to where we are. Over the Chariot, I think it confirms that you kind of need to bring out certain aspects of yourself in order to be healed, not to kind of hide them or hide from them rather, or to ignore them and hope they'll go away. I think a lot of us have been doing quite deep emotional work lately, or a lot of work on how we think and what we project into our reality when we think in a certain way. Now the Magician comes in here very interestingly to tell us that we're able to manifest exactly what it is we desire, and we have to be careful in that strength, in that ability, because we have to look at our mental processes in order to manifest things that are beneficial to us. There's an old book by James Allen called As a Man Thinketh, So Is He. I recommend it to everybody. So the Magician is telling us that we're able to kind of reach up to the divine muse and manifest upon the earth that which needs to be manifest. And so the Seven of Swords needs us to have a deeper clarity, a deeper wisdom and understanding of, as I say, what it is that we think, or how we think, and how that's going to show itself and come about. Now we have the Ten of Pentacles over the Queen of Swords. Wow, what an energy. The Ten of Pentacles is about a sharing of the wealth, a sharing of the foundation, creating a foundation in unison, in mutual benefit. So what I'm seeing here is the Queen of Swords. She's understanding how she fits into kind of the environment of blessings and abundance. She's understanding how her wisdom, how her experiences manifest what she desires. So the Ten of Pentacles to me is saying, look, you're coming to a stage now where you want to put down a strong foundation. You want to collaborate to create a solid future, and to look at how your heart expresses itself, or is perhaps needs protecting in that, depends on the person here, and how you get the balance right for yourself and with your family and your partners, etc. So then we have the Five of Pentacles over the Devil card. Now, I think where this energy lies is about you perhaps feeling unsupported, perhaps feeling that there is a lack of balance, a lack of understanding, a lack of resources for you here. In the fives, it's always a catalyst for our growth, and this is in terms of your resources, finances, your support network. Sometimes we don't look up. Sometimes we stay in a way of thinking that is detrimental to us moving forward. It makes us move in circles. So we're looking at fear-based stuff here with the Devil, and I think what this is asking you to do is to flip the switch, to start looking around and asking for that help, and demanding for balance and for justice, if you like. Okay, Virgo, I'm going to pull a couple of advice cards for May for you. Okay, Virgo, what we have here is the experiencing card and the completion card. This is a really beautiful energy, both of them. The experiencing card is about kind of the attitude to which we approach things. Sometimes we carry with us an acetate of experience that can cloud our perception. It can make us go in cycles. It can make us miss certain blessings. Things change, and sometimes when we react in the same way, it kind of brings back the same energy, and we go, as I say, in this cycle. And so this lady comes along to ask us to remove that acetate and to have a little bit of purity of heart. I mean, understanding that everybody has experiences that kind of mold us and make us who we are, but sometimes those experiences can make us cynical, can make us defensive, and can make us have kind of lower expectations of our life. And so, got a little fly friend trying to get in on the act here. So this purity of heart, this open heart with which she approaches the tree to commune with the tree, is perhaps something that you could adopt in order to try and see things in a different way, or to allow new energy in. And then we have the completion card, which talks about things coming full cycle. You notice how the piece of the puzzle that is being completed is over the third eye. And having had the High Priestess in your reading here as clarity, it helps me to see that there's going to be a huge amount of clarity coming in, particularly with all of these swords. And it's a clarity that is above the physical world. It's an intuition. It's tapping into your superpower, Virgo. You're able to see things and perceive things in a way that nobody else can. And so perhaps this is coming back for you now. You're able to use all of your experiences to give you that vision. Really beautiful, beautiful cards, Virgo. I'll pull you one more card as an outcome now for May. Wow, so we have the Tower card, Virgo. The Tower card is interesting because we've got this clearing, a clearing of all the things that no longer serve. This is the universe saying, okay, look, you know, you've built this tower, and we understand the intention behind it, but some things have kind of gone wrong. Some things have not fit together properly, and perhaps you've allowed it to be compromised, or it's been compromised by other people, or perhaps your sense of duty has created an imbalance here, and the duty must also be to yourself, not just to everybody else. And so what we have here is the universe coming to bring you that clarity with the lightning, and helping you understand that, okay, we're going to clear away certain things that don't serve you, for you to now create something that has solidity and longevity. And so here we have this beautiful new way of seeing things, and a completion of a cycle and a new start. I really like your cards for May, Virgo. It looks like you're really coming into your power, and you've got a fantastic insight into how to go forward and create all of your blessings with the Ten of Pentacles there. Fantastic. Please do make comments in the comments box below. Subscribe and like if you haven't already, and share away all of the videos that you think people might enjoy. Really appreciate you being here. Thanks for your support. I'll see you next time.